welcome to Harley, what are you doing here?
I am here.
Harley is here present with me that you can see on the video version. But if you just listen to the audio version,
Harley is here.
Harley is here, yeah.
Yes.
We're just recording together today. Yeah. We're going to do another special errand. A special errand. My heart is broken. Now, Aaron, again, was tied up today, so it's just going to be me and Harley coming at you. So welcome to another special edition of A Piece of Our Minds, a podcast about the creative process coming from the aspect of two amateur artists as we go through our lives and our creative processes together.
Yes.
Yeah. So I, as always, am the pseudo-host, Zander, and today I'm joined by my physical friend, Harley. Not that way.
I
might assure you.
I am Harley. I am writer and amateur actor.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I also do writing and also a lot of other stuff, including theater in general.
Yeah.
Which is, we decided, going to be the basic idea for today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's talk about that. First, just...
Yeah, let's jump into what we did this week.
Yeah, a little bit of what we did this week. I'll go first. Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
So this week was the first week of classes for me at college. So that was fun.
Yep. It was another busy week.
Yeah, this entire week felt like a full semester already, which was just fantastic. I have to say, I was a big fan of it.
Yeah.
It was great. But no, it's been a good time. I'm taking a scenic production class this semester, which I'm very excited about because I've never done
no
texts. Sorry about that. I'm taking a scenic production class. I'm also taking a voice acting class, both of which I am extremely excited about.
I didn't know you were taking a voice acting class.
Oh, you didn't?
That's
I haven't
awesome.
told you that? Yeah, it's not technically like specifically voice acting, but it's called voice of the actor.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for like all kinds of voices and everything that you do while you're acting and how to like best prepare your voice. And yeah,
that sounds awesome. Actually,
it's really cool. The professor, he's like a 60-some-year-old like New Yorker who like has done theater like everywhere.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I love him. He's great. It's been a great time.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I did writing. I recorded a video audition for the shows here on campus that I think I talked about a little bit last week. And I got a callback for one of the productions that they're doing, which, yeah, it's like a collection of short plays, and I got called back for 2 of the 6.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting. Callbacks are tomorrow, so.
Exciting.
Yes. I will break many legs. Yeah, so what have you been up to?
I had a very busy week. Last week I talked about how I am joining the Air Force, and I had my physical and testing this week for that, and so I had 2 days of the week where I was just very busy doing that, so I did not get much writing done. I worked on a little bit of the scene that I was working on with Elaine being drunk, but just a little bit. I didn't get as much as I would want to. Hopefully I want to work on that tonight and maybe get some of that, maybe finish that scene, hopefully. Other than that, I didn't really do much. Big announcement, I am now officially a qualified member of the United States Air Force.
Yes.
And so, unfortunately, that means that I will be leaving sooner than I originally thought. So I will be leaving October 13th to basic training.
Yeah. Put it on your calendars, people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my big announcement.
That's very cool. Yeah, I am happy for you.
Thank you.
I think it's going to be in a much better place.
Yeah,
than where we were.
But
yeah, and then afterwards, you said you might go into theater, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
After I get done with my 4 to 6 years, however long I decide to stay in the Air Force, I am going to be going back to college, and I am going to be going into acting or theater, and I'll probably either do a double major or a minor in theater because I want to stick with psychology as my major.
Okay.
But I definitely think I'll be taking a minor in theater or acting or something like that.
That'll be awesome. Then we can act together.
Yeah.
like for old times, which is what we're gonna jump into now. So because Aaron's not here, and Aaron also doesn't like acting at all, so he wouldn't be able to contribute to this conversation. Rest in power, Aaron. We're going to talk a little bit about acting. So I guess we've had a lot of acting experience. Nothing like substantial.
Like not like big productions.
No. And also, I found out I took an acting class, acting one last semester, and I found out that how much little preparation we actually got in high school about what acting is. Yeah, because what we did in high school was basically just like we got a script and they were like, be this person. I was like, cool.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that. And we did it our best, and apparently we were pretty good at it. But there's a lot more to that that comes into.
I'm very interested to hear this.
Yeah. So one of the basic fundamental things that which I guess we'll talk about first with acting, that just in case you're interested in acting and you haven't learned this kind of stuff yet, because it seems very fundamental, but I was never told it until like a few months ago. And I was just sitting there like, maybe I should have researched more and then I could have been better. But anyway, one of the basic fundamentals of acting is finding your I forgot what it's called. You know I don't prepare. You know I don't prepare for this. Oh my gosh, what is it called?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like what your character's central like motivation is. Yeah, so you want to like dig down. It's your super objective. That's what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah, it's your super objective. It's what your character is trying to get by saying the words that they're saying and doing their actions.
Okay.
Yeah. So like when you're I guess for example, in acting one, I did a monologue from the Albert Camus. I don't know how to pronounce it actually. It's a play called Caligula from like 1930s, 40s. I don't know. It feels, just for a gist of it, the play feels like Joker or like Taxi Driver if it was written in the 1920s. Like that's how it feels. Yeah. And it's very interesting. I liked it. It was very good. But I had to do an in-depth character analysis of Caligula for the class. And so basically I established that like in the monologue I was doing, the monologue essentially is him talking to himself in a mirror about like how crazy he is basically. And he's like, it's like, oh, you're trying to be logical, but you sound so stupid. And then eventually he like builds up to being like, oh, he's like, I am the only one that can do this. I am like, and I must succumb to like my dark impulses in order to accomplish what I want. And it's very creepy, and I love it.
For those of you who don't know who Caligula is in real life.
Oh yeah. Harley, would you like to explain that a little bit?
Caligula was absolutely insane. He was a Roman emperor, dictator, whatever, leader. Back when they were one person leading, and he was absolutely batshit crazy.
Yeah, he was bonkers.
Put his horse on the Congress. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, the Senate. I think
the Senate. He put his horse on the Senate.
The horse was the Senate.
Yeah. I can't remember. He might have been. He was the one that played the violin.
That was Nero.
Was that Nero?
That was Nero.
Okay.
Yeah.
They get mixed up because Caligula and Nero
they're
both
both
crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, Caligula was insane.
Yeah.
But so for this scene, I established his super objective was basically him trying. God, it was like him trying to convince himself that his motives were sound. Like that's basically what it was. It was him trying to be like he was like blaming himself for like all these like stupid things he was doing, but then he was like, oh, he's like, I kind of feel like this is the right thing now. And he like thoroughly convinced himself. So like that's his super, like he's talking to himself in the mirror, but he has that goal in mind. Yeah. So your super objective is what your character wants to get out of the situation at any given moment. And so like in a scene, a character can have I think they have one major super objective like as a character, but then you can have multiple different objectives like as the conversation flows, which is also very interesting to look into because there's so much little detail like stuff that you can go into, like to pick apart a character and really get in
Mhm.
depth with it.
And I think we did that when we went over character trees.
Yes, yeah. That's like a lot. It's a lot of the same principles as character trees that
Yeah.
you just, instead of like coming up with it like from the heart, you come up with it like by analyzing the text
Mhm.
and being like, who is this character and how do I betray that?
And what do
How
they
do I
want?
betray that?
What do they want?
Yeah, what do they want? Another big thing with acting that I wanted to touch on, what was that? My stomach. My stomach just made it grumbly. Another big thing I wanted to touch on was talking about finding like an emotional center with what the character is feeling. Because if you're playing a character, you want to be able to relate to them
Mhm.
in some way. Like even if it's like an intrinsic like motivation to like be like to have more power or energy or something, just like find something that you can like find a common ground with that character, or like a discommon ground. Like I don't understand that, but like I can get the feeling, or I have felt that before.
Mhm.
Because that's what the point I'm really trying to get at is that in order to truly like act and like be a character like to its full effect, you need to. It doesn't need to be the exact same situation,
Mhm.
but you have to dig into like you have to find like a moment that you have felt like a similar feeling and like be able to like replay that
Mhm.
feeling in your entire body at any moment.
Yeah.
And like I feel like I've heard it be called as like an actor's toolkit of like just having those different experiences, those different emotions that you can just draw from at any moment. You're like, oh, this character's diagnosed with a terminal illness. I was sad. I'm so sorry. That was a terrible example.
That is sad.
I've been no, but you've gotten like maybe you haven't had that exact experience, but you've had like a disappointing or like a moment of like you're like, oh no.
Just you've had a moment of sadness.
You've had a moment of sadness or like just like heart dropping.
And you can be like, that'd probably be what that was like.
Yeah, and you can pull that and like try to like just really get to the center of this. This is why I'm not a teacher. This is why I'm not a professor.
You got a terminal illness.
You're just sad. Like, that's sad. Like, I've been sad.
I've been sad before.
Man, we're trying our best here. Okay? We don't call this a piece of our minds professional podcast. Okay? We are very much amateurs.
At
this.
Yeah,
and that's just stuff that I learned in acting 1. Like, I can't even imagine, like, way off in the future, like as I go through my theater degree and
acting
pursuing
5.
Tree 7 in acting 5, or there is no acting 5. The highest it goes in acting 2. When you get to that point, how much more there is to learn.
Yeah,
I think that's another important lesson too that I want you to take from this podcast is that just you can find like this information
anywhere.
Everywhere. Like if I would have Googled anything about acting, I guarantee I would have seen some of those super objectives like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like when I was interested in like really starting to get interested in acting.
Yeah.
Like with speech and theater and other etc. High school.
Other etc. Yeah. Like we are basically just offering information that you can already know.
You were allowed to know these things before you tune in.
Yeah.
But we appreciate that you do.
Yeah. We are honestly just a different expression of public information.
I guess I saw one of my friends told me that apparently it's a big joke that like when white men want to like have an opinion, they start a podcast. And I was sitting there thinking, I was like, huh, that's exactly what we do. No, but yeah, I hope we can help someone or like that this can be interesting.
And we can provide someone with an interesting view on creative things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like acting is just like a very like again like we were talking about like with the character trees and stuff and the character analysis, like the skills are transferable. Like a lot of things. If you learn how to be like how to analyze characters in one thing, you can analyze characters everywhere. You'll have that toolkit and you can go forth and frolic in your own artistic endeavors.
Yeah.
And that's what we want you to do.
Don't know how you use character trees in like drawing though, but
I mean,
I bet you can figure it out.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you can use that for like posing and stuff.
Fair enough.
You'd be like, okay, what is like this character is holding a sword? How would he hold? How would Caligula hold it? How Caligula would hold a sword is different than how like Shrek would hold a sword.
That's true.
They would hold it in very different ways. So yeah, it's TLDR. Character analysis. Do character analysis.
Yeah, it's character analysis is a very, very valuable aspect of the creative process in anything.
Yeah, and draw into your emotions, of course. Yeah,
emotions, character analysis,
tying them together,
and passion.
Race not passion. Yeah, you gotta have passion.
Put them all together, and what do you get?
Bippity boppity.
You get a hand. You can't see it on the audio version, but I'm putting my hand up.
But he has his hand.
Yeah.
This is the worst.
Just watch the video version.
This is the worst episode of the podcast.
That's not true. Don't lie.
What was the worst episode of the podcast?
Third one.
The third. What was that? The one we talked about Shadow the Hedgehog forever?
I think so. I don't remember.
Yeah, we blocked that out. No, that's
yeah. But so yeah, just we've said it dozens of times. Just figure out what you want to put into your creative process. And with acting, it can be with acting, you tie in your emotions and the character analysis you do of the character. So you take the character analysis. What do they want? What is their super objective? What are the emotions that come from?
Ooh. There's another concept that is very important that goes along with objective, super objective, and all that. And it's called tactics. And so it's basically, when you identify a super objective or a tertiary objective, like all the objectives that character has, you then need to figure out how your character is going to go about getting that. And that's called their tactic. And tactics change all the time throughout a scene, or even like a monologue. Your tactics are going to change like every sentence, or even like halfway through a sentence. You're going to like completely switch, and that's all a lot of the tactics and how you're going to decide what tactics you're using has a lot to do with, of course, the character, but also like what the character wants, and like who or what they're interacting with is going to like. Because they're going to treat people, they're going to act different. They might say the same words to different people, but their expression of it is going to be a lot different, depending on. So just knowing that tactics and like how you're going to move. I am not good at movement when it comes to being an actor, which I feel like Harley can probably attest to this. I very much just take my own. I have just my own gestures, and I find it difficult to transform my movement when I'm acting. And that's something I really need to work on, to be honest. Because I want to be able to transform like my stance and like how I gesture and how I move, because that's a big part of tactics. Yeah.
It's like you can have like very aggressive movements or like subtle movements, and that just depends on what your character is really feeling and how they want to go after something.
Yeah. And so like it's a lot of reaction is like what tactics are. So they're like, your character will notice that this isn't working, so they'll try something else. And they'll be like, okay, like they start being aggressive, and they like can see from the other character that that's not working. So they're gonna like maybe back off a little bit, like try something else, try a little bit more persuasion. Maybe if that doesn't work, maybe they'll like pull off even more, like give up, and then their objective changes completely. Yeah. Acting's interesting. Acting's fun.
It is.
Yeah.
Very fun.
It's great. Yeah, I guess that's basically like the tool sets side of things.
Yeah.
As far as experience and stuff goes, which I guess we could talk about.
I guess. Yeah. I guess.
If I have to. Mom said it's my turn on the podcast. Anyway. No, we did speech all throughout high school. Yeah, Harley and I
partners in crime.
We were partners in crime. Yeah, we did duet for 2 years and OID for 3 years together. For those who aren't familiar with public speaking, or like speech competitions in high school or forensics in college. OID stands for oral interpretation of drama.
Yeah.
And so basically, what OID is, it's 3 to 5 people in a group they're acting out a play in 15 minutes, and the big like catch, I guess, is you can't directly interact or touch each other.
Yeah.
So basically, how it works is like if Harley and I were having a conversation in an OID, instead of looking at him like this or like grabbing him, I would look at him like I'm looking at him in the screen right now,
like a mirror.
Yeah, like that's what it looks like. That's how I talk to him. And like if we were doing like a high five in OID, we would go like,
yeah,
like that's how you interact. So that's what OID is. And Harley and I did that in teams for a while. We did the Broadway musical, The Book of Mormon. I edited it down to 15 minutes, which if you take out all the raunchy stuff of The Book of Mormon, it happens to be 15 minutes. So yeah, I played Elder Price and he played Elder Cunningham.
Yes.
That was fun.
It was a great time.
Yeah. Our other OID we did was a spoof of Christmas Carol, where I played like a character who the ghost of Christmas Past, Present, Future accidentally confused for Ebenezer Scrooge.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like a regular dude, but they were showing him all of Scrooge's life. And then he like kind of like saw bits and pieces of how his life were in Ebenezer Scrooge's story. And then you apply that. It was cute. It was fun. And then
I forgot what character I played in that one.
You played a bunch of them. You were Christmas Present, and then a bunch of random people.
Oh, and I was the girlfriend.
You were the girlfriend.
Yeah. Okay, now I remember.
And then senior year, we did a Apocalypse. Like it was like a mashup of like The Maze Runner and Hunger Games and Divergent.
Yeah.
That was just fun.
That was a goofy one.
Yeah, that was
fun. It was a good time.
One. Yeah. Then we also did Duet.
Yes.
If you want, maybe you can explain what Duet.
So, Duet is basically OID, but with 2 people, and it's 12 minutes.
12 minutes, yeah.
12 minutes, and you can interact directly. You can touch, punch,
yeah,
kick, slap. You can
punch.
You can just go full all out with your acting.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we did it for 2 years together. Junior year, we did superheroes. It was just a superhero one.
So with great power comes ordinary responsibility.
Yeah,
was the name of the play.
It's a goofy play about basically just the day-to-day lives of superheroes,
Mm-hmm.
and like them going through like basic stuff like taxes with the Hulk, and Aquaman trying to be cool.
And the rest of it was me talking in a Christian Bale voice and beating the crap out of Harley.
And Batman just can't find he can't figure out what he wants to do besides being Batman.
Yeah, Batman basically solved like a ton of crime, like all like the serious crime. So he's like
doing the petty crime
beating
stuff.
up people for like littering or he was picking on small businesses for like not fulfilling orders fast enough because he was like, where's Bruce Wayne's laundry?
That was just a good one. It was fun. And then senior year we did the Book of Mormon as a duet, which was also a very fun time. We played the same characters, Elder Cunningham, Elder Price, and
respectively.
Yeah. And I played the other small cast of characters that we decided to go with.
Yeah, so that's basically our acting experience.
Yeah, and then one act, and musicals.
Yeah. We did High School Musical 1 year at our high school, which fun facts, went through my High School Musical phase at 18 years old, which is the highlight of my life thus far. Because like I watched them and I was like going up to all my friends and I was like, guys, High School Musical is really good, and they were like, either no, it's not, or Zander, you're like 10 years too late at least.
High School Musical, that was before I was interested in actually singing and also performing like that.
Yeah, and that was before I was pretty good at singing. So right now I'm passable at singing. Then I was like a little under passable.
So we did that. I played a character that they cut from the movie version.
Yes. Which is always the highlight. I played Ryan, the flamboyant man.
Yeah. And then
we did Newsies senior year, which was also very fun.
Also fun.
Yeah.
I was a little crippled boy.
I was little what's the word?
Pretentious.
Pretentious. Yeah, I was the little pretentious boy.
Yeah, that
Which
was
is-
a that was a fun time.
That was fun. Yeah.
My first ever solo.
Yeah. You nailed that. You nailed that as Crutchy.
So stressful.
That was great.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Um,
And then
yeah, senior year, I guess our most notable one act we did was a senior year. It was called Yeah, you were in the shirt.
I'm wearing the
You were in
shirt from our performance.
Yeah, it's called The Infamous Soothing Sister, Professor Millard. I played the main character, the protagonist, whose name was Hero.
And I played the professor.
It was crazy as Caligula.
Yep.
Very good. We each both got Nebraska State acting awards for it, which was
Crowning achievement.
yeah, which is very good and is currently when I submitted my audition for the stuff that I just got a call back for, I had to submit a resume that was supposed to have a bunch of theater stuff on it. But the only theater thing I had on it was my state acting award, which is great. They were like, "What experience do you have?" And I was like,
I have this thing.
It's like, okay. I was like, good question.
You didn't like put all the list of performances?
No, I just turned in my like regular work resume and was like, it's good enough. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
then
that's the past. But now I guess we're looking at the future.
Yeah,
a little bit.
doing that.
Yeah. So I mentioned I'm pursuing a theater acting degree. Harley, mayhaps in the future.
Yep.
Do the same.
Years down the road.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
What I'm gonna do with that,
we shall see. We shall see.
Yeah, we shall see. As soon as the whole swampy nonsense that's been going on for the past few months is over and theaters start opening back up again, I'm very much going to try to hop into the local theater community, start being in productions, which I'm very excited to start.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And hopefully, I'll probably post stuff about it online everywhere.
Yeah.
You guys follow us on Twitter, not to be mad or anything.
Yeah. And probably by the end of next week, I will probably be creating my Instagram account to follow my writing progress as I go on.
Yeah. Yeah, I might do the same as I feel like I'm probably in the next year or so is when I plan to have No One's Alone at the End of Time done. Yeah, which hopefully after that I can spend the next like year editing and then maybe send it to a publisher, like see if anything can happen with that.
Yeah,
that could be really cool.
And I'll be trying to find as much free time as I can to work on my writing because I really love this project. I really do, and it's definitely my favorite thing that I've gotten into. And so just doing this for me, for you guys, anybody, all our wonderful listeners, doing this and completing it, hopefully I want to complete it like within the next year, like you are wanting to complete yours. Mine's going to be shorter than yours. I know it is.
Mine's going to be very long.
Yeah. Because
spoiler alert.
mine is going to be a much more straightforward plot.
Yeah, mine is not.
But I want to make a series out of it, which
should be very cool.
Because I don't know if I feel like I've talked about it before, how I want to bring in like different folklore, like berserkers. It's going to be a little bit of my own kind of input to the lore of Viking berserkers. But I want to bring in like the Wendigo and like witches and stuff. Like witches. I'm thinking about like just throwing in just a bunch of this folklore, and I'm definitely going to do research for it because folklore is very interesting to me and I love it. And just bringing in all these different aspects would be a lot of fun. Yeah. And I gotta figure out a reason why Lane is different from all the other berserkers in the world.
Well, you can, you'll come up with that. Like, I guarantee you'll just be sitting there writing one day, and then you'll just be like, "Oh,
I can do this."
You're like, "Oh, that makes sense." That like, you'll come up with something that'll just pop in your head, and then you'll be like, "Oh, that like makes sense with this and this, and that, and like that all works."
And obviously, and when I like reveal why Lane is different, I'll be like, I'll be like bringing in all the other folklore because it'd be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah. And I'm gonna keep chugging along with trying to figure out what the plot of Noah's Ark at the end of time is. I made a list of what the major theme, what the like big overall theme I want the story to be about. Like what am I trying to say with this story, and then like some of the like underlying like little other messages I want with it. And that has helped a lot with keeping me like on track with like what scenes happen, how characters interact, and like how they play into that theme. So that also that could be help too.
Yeah.
Honestly, like coming up with your theming and everything.
Yeah. And I think I already have like a basic theme of mine, which like accepting yourself and like learning how to deal with your demons.
Yeah.
In this case, it's very literal.
It's very literal. Yeah, I was just thinking.
It's very literal, like dealing with your demons and kind of trying to forget about the past and just move forward. So yeah, it's gonna be a long journey, but we're gonna get there eventually.
Yeah.
Life goes on and we're still going.
Yeah, we just keep pushing forward 10 minutes every day.
Yeah.
A little bit every day.
And we'll get there.
Yeah.
For you guys, all of our wonderful listeners.
Yeah.
So
I guess that's it. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Yeah, that
was good.
That was good. A little behind the scenes whenever we end the recording and we all turn to each other and are like, no, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for listening to A Piece of Our Minds, another special edition about, I guess, acting and just like
our
project. Yeah, acting or experience, our projects in general. If you want to talk to us about anything, reach out, show support. We can, if you need support, reach out to us on social media. Harley and I both have Instagram and Twitter. Aaron has
Instagram.
Yeah.
He probably has Twitter.
He might have Twitter. I don't know. Yeah, so if you're listening to this podcast now, congratulations as always.
You made it to
the end.
You did it again.
Which means you did great.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. Yeah, and if you want to listen to other places, we are available on everywhere that you listen to podcasts, basically. And those places are Anchor, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Spotify, of course, and also, of course, Apple Podcasts.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and for you visual junkies out there who are looking for a little extra spice while you listen to that, we also upload the video version of this on YouTube every time that it's uploaded simultaneously every Monday at noon.
Yes.
Yes. So check us out. Lettuce Rock Productions is our YouTube channel. Lettuce as in the house of the fruit. That could have been problematic.
The food.
That would have had too many people confused. No, Lettuce Rock Productions. We post a bunch of projects there. We're still working on stuff. That's Ender 3 coming eventually, DVD. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week when we talk about something.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Just like always.
So
I love you.
Yeah. Well, we love you, all of our beautiful listeners.
Yeah.
So, thank you all once again for letting us give you a piece of our minds. See you next week.
Yes, sir. Goodbye, everybody.